military veterans being dragged into courts by the country they protected. In this video, Nigel Farage delivers a powerful speech from the Reform UK Veterans for Reform launch. We also examine the timeless leadership principles of honour and moral obligation that every nation owes its defenders. Before we get into the details, if you love diving into political issues and enjoy hearing a principled take on them, then hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to join the conversation. It will help our channel reach a wider audience.
I'm proud to be here today at the launch of Veterans for Reform, and I can tell from the energy, the enthusiasm, and the speed with which every single seat this morning was taken, leaving a big waiting list, I can tell that we're going to turn this into a massive organisation that stands up and fights for the rights of all of our military veterans. None of them ever should be left behind. And the need for this is very great, because we have a government who, whilst they talk about defence, frankly, are doing little about it. Apart, of course, from not just giving away the Chagos Islands and the military base at Diego Garcia, which for our vital American allies is their single most important base anywhere in the world outside of America. No, he's not just giving it away. He's paying them to take off us what is rightfully ours. We have a government led by human rights lawyers, a government prepared to bow down to some vague concept of international law administered by foreign courts, and a government that I believe doesn't have a patriotic bone in its body. These people are not with us. And of course, the prosecutions continue, not just of people who did their job in very, very tense, difficult and dangerous circumstances in Northern Ireland up to half a century ago, but now they're going for our special forces. Now they're after the SAS, for virtually any action that took place in Afghanistan or Iraq. The results of this are catastrophic. I have met face to face some of the men who are facing this misery. I have spoken to former commanders of both the SBS and the SAS, and they tell me the result on recruitment is literally catastrophic. Our armed forces are something we should be immensely proud of. Our armed forces are something the rest of the world looks up to. Our armed forces, in conjunction, particularly with the Americans and our other close allies, are one of the most important contributions we have to make to any defence alliance. And yet, under this government, they are under serious threat and serious assault. But this isn't new. This isn't just this government. Because frankly, if you look back at 14 years of Conservative government, what you see is promise after promise, for example, on the defence budget. And yet at the end of those 14 years, despite the fact the world is undoubtedly a more dangerous place than it's been for many, many decades, at the end of that 14 years, they were spending less on defence in percentage terms than the Gordon Brown government was 14 years before. And the refusal to stand up for the rights of veterans is what led to what I think was the very principled resignation of Johnny Mercer MP as Veterans Minister. He said enough is enough and resigned his job. And don't we need more people in politics with that level of courage, belief and conviction? in the end, they did put some legislation in place, but it was legislation, frankly, that was never destined to work for reasons I'll come to in a short while. But I want to say this. Never again must there be a case like that of Dennis Hutchins. Dennis Hutchins hounded through the courts, arrested at 5 o'clock. I mean, a man in his mid-70s arrested at 5 o'clock in the morning for carrying out his duty in, as I've said already, those difficult, dangerous and tense environments that we faced in Northern Ireland. Dennis Hutchins hounded until the day he died, whilst every IRA terrorist faces no prospect of prosecution whatsoever. I am pleased that we have peace in Northern Ireland, but we're beginning to see that some of the surrenders that were made from the Belfast Agreement and onwards by the Blair government have led to this ridiculous situation. If we're going to absolve those who potentially were terrorists 50 years ago, the very least we can do is to absolve not just the memory of Dennis Hutchins, but all those now and in the future who may go through this process. And to that end, I promise you that a Reform government will end all of these vexatious claims taken against our veterans from conflict after conflict. And for those who've been found guilty under very dubious codes of the Human Rights Act, we will grant a royal pardon of mercy on their name. And I have a feeling that ranged against us, we have the metropolitan elites. Ranged against us, we have the Human Rights Brigade. Yeah, I'm not too keen on them either, I've got to tell you. By the way, I did polish my shoes to come here today. I hope you've all noted. They're ranged against us, but I'll tell you increasingly who is with us. The silent, decent majority of law-abiding people in this country. They know the difference between right and wrong, and we're going to make sure, through the strength of this organisation, they clearly, loudly and consistently hear our voice, and many, many more will come to our support. But it won't just be the silent majority. We will even get more political figures, more public figures standing up and defending what we are fighting for.
One of our leaders' greatest priorities should be the security and sovereignty of the nation and the people. Military veterans who fight to protect the nation should be treated with the highest regard when they come home. Military veterans should never be sleeping on the streets of Britain while illegal migrants are put up in 4-star hotels. The priority of the government is wrong. When men and women who fought for the nation are dragged through the courts for war crimes instead of being protected by the state that they lay their lives down on the battlefield to protect, they should never find it difficult to be treated for physical or psychological damage while illegal migrants get full health care benefits without any restrictions. True leadership honors sacrifice, not symbolically, but materially. Neglecting veterans is a moral failure, not just a policy failure. Prioritizing our veterans over illegals for housing, healthcare, legal protection, and dignity isn't charity. It's fulfilling a debt of honor. Neglect, like homelessness or prosecution, like prosecutions for battlefield actions, violates this debt and erodes the nation's moral foundation. Britain needs leaders who know where their priority should lie. Leaders who stand up for their country, their people, and their military veterans. True leaders understand the moral obligation we owe to those who served. Honor that obligation now. Put our veterans first in housing, in care, in protection under the law. Fulfill the debt of honor we owe them. Make it clear to every politician, honor our veterans or step aside. If you have benefited in any way from this video, please subscribe, like, share, and be sure to leave us a comment.